Greetings, friends and citizens, and welcome to this edition of Brother Bart's Conspiracy Corner News. This is Bart Sibrel. Well, it wasn't my choice, but my lot has been chosen. I'm the Moon Man, and YouTube recently demonetized my channel, and it was a fair amount of income, up to a third of my income, because I've had millions of views on my channel. So they took the ad revenue away as a way of censoring without people and the general public or the media, even though they own that too, knowing that they were actually censoring by penalizing people. The fact is, Nissan, which was my main sponsor, doesn't care whether you believe that the moon landings are real or not to sell you a car. They would gladly sell a car to people who think that they're real and to that they're fake and that there are aliens on the moon or that it's made of cheese. They don't really care. So it's a lie for Google to say that they're not advertiser friendly because Google is owned by the CIA. They're the ones who faked the moon landing, and when you point it out, it offends them. So let's move on. There was recently, relative to the lifespan of myself, a documentary on the, National Geographic channel that went into great lengths to disprove my film. In fact, they invited me to be interviewed on the film, but when it came to light that I might say things such as what I'm about to say, they recanted. Even after a lot of these people pay me in advance, they still change their mind because they're not really interested in the truth. And in fact, you cannot find this video anywhere on YouTube that I'm aware of because they so contradict themselves and just beleaguered attempt to try to prove that the moon landings are real. First of all, let's just see what they're attempting to do here. The sun is about 93 million miles away. So if you go out at noon on a sunny day, or you look at two objects, these two telephone poles are about, 8 feet apart from one another, you see that the shadows never intersect. It's impossible for them to intersect because the sun is 93 million miles away. It has a diameter 1,000 times bigger than the Earth, and it's going to cast light evenly on any surface on the Earth. The shadows will fall in the same direction forever, all the time. And that's why when you look at pictures that were taken in a television studio, such as the moon landing pictures were, and here's an example, I believe this is from Apollo 14, you can see that you have an astronaut shadow going at 12 o'clock and a shadow of a rock over here going at about 9 o'clock. And they're only, about 5 feet apart from one another. So this is simply impossible to be taken by sunlight. You can even do a little side-by-side comparison here, and you'll see that this is simply impossible to have been taken with sunlight, which means it was taken with electrical light, which means it was taken in a television studio, which means they're on Earth, which means the moon landings are fake. So this beleaguered attempt that we're about to see to disprove my movie goes something like this.
To test these conspiracy claims, we relied on our own technical knowledge as filmmakers to create a lunar set.
Oh, pride comes before a fall. They're boasting about what great filmmakers they are and how it makes them an expert. Uh-oh, they're in trouble.
We chose the Trona Pinnacles, a desert area 4 hours from Hollywood, the home of movie making. Our moon set will be used as a backdrop, not to fake our own lunar landings, but to challenge the hoax theories. And though we can't duplicate the intensity of the sun...
Oh, they can duplicate the intensity of the sun. You know how you do it? You wait 12 hours and go to the same spot and use the sunlight to simulate sunlight. But they're using electrical light to simulate sunlight. You see this? They say they can't duplicate the sun. Sure they can. They just wait 12 hours and shoot it during the sun, right?
Here in the night desert, our single studio light is powerful enough for our experiments. By testing some of the most famous conspiracy arguments, can we put the lunar fraud theories to rest?
Yeah, they're going to put them to rest. They're going to prove that they're true. So what they're doing is they're using an electrical light to simulate the sunlight to see if the shadows intersect or not. Real interesting, huh?
Once and for all. The morning after the shoot, the negatives are developed at a professional processing laboratory in Los Angeles.
In our experiment in the desert, we shot a variety of photographs using different film formats. In this 35mm photograph, we see that the shadows of the crew members in our single light source very distinctly converge together. In fact, there's almost a 90-degree difference in the apparent shadow direction.
Okay, so he's saying, look, we simulated the moon pictures and they intersect, therefore the moon landings must be real. Hello, everybody. They used an electrical light to simulate the moon pictures. And just like I said, they do intersect at 90 degrees, which proves that the moon pictures were lit with electrical light. Do you see this? He actually proves that the moon landings were lit with electrical light, meaning that they're fake, all the while he's trying to convince you that the fact that the shadows intersect with an electrical light means that the moon landing pictures are real, when it's that very evidence that proves that they're false.
These results directly contradict the conspiracy claims. The results of our photographic experiment appear to be overwhelming.
Okay, they again said it contradicts the conspiracy claims when it does the exact opposite. It proves that the moon landings were shot with electrical light. I mean, this just boggles my mind. And when I point this out to these and other producers who were previously going to have me on the show, who paid me in advance, they refuse to have interviews of me aired, even if they're already spent tens of thousands of dollars paying me for it, flying me, putting me up in hotels. And they, once I contradict the story that the moon landings are real and prove it, then they don't have that evidence on the program. So how can the National Geographic actually be interested in finding out whether the moon landings are real or not? I mean, it's really, really amazing. So there you have it. I mean, we can look at it one more time. Let's just take a look at it.
And though we can't duplicate the intensity of the sun here in the night desert, our single studio light is powerful enough for our experiments. By testing some of the most famous conspiracy arguments, can we put the lunar fraud theories to rest once and for all? The morning after the shoot, the negatives are developed at a professional processing laboratory in Los Angeles.
In our experiment in the desert, we shot a variety of photographs using different film formats. In this 35mm photograph, we see that the shadows of the crew members in our single light source very distinctly converge together. In fact, there's almost a 90-degree difference in the apparent shadow direction.
These results directly contradict the conspiracy claims.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. They actually prove the conspiracy claims. You see, here's their simulation of them being on the moon, right? There it is right there. Okay. And then here it is actually, according to the government, on the moon. Okay. So in the pictures on the moon, the shadows intersect when they shouldn't. And he says, look, we got them to intersect too, therefore the moon pictures are real. But how did they get them to intersect? With an electrical light, not the sun, which means these were taken with an electrical light, not the sun. Because here is how they look when they are shot with the sun. So the idea that they claim we can't duplicate the sun, sure they can. All they had to do is get there 12 hours earlier or wait another 12 hours and have the crew member stand here and have the astronaut stand here, and then the shadows would have never intersected. And yet they say this very evidence contradicts the conspiracy claims when it actually proves it. So their little demonstration, which they do, and they just lie through their teeth and say this proves that the moon landings are real, it's this very evidence that proves that they're false. And this has to be why you cannot find this anywhere on YouTube, because it's so blatantly contradictory, it boggles the mind. And this poor little guy, this alleged scientist photographer guy right there, he says, hey, it's my life's work to prove that the moon landings are real. Really? I mean, if they were real, shouldn't they speak for themselves? I mean, if the moon landings are real, there shouldn't be a single video on the internet saying, oh, no, they're real. Please don't listen to these people who say that they're fake. Well, there's thousands of them out there. Thousands of them exist to reassure us that the moon landings are real. It has been famously said by Shakespeare, thou dost protest too much. And another famous writer said this, the likelihood of one individual being right increases in direct proportion to the intensity to which others are trying to prove him wrong. This has been Brother Bart's Conspiracy Corner News. I hope you have a great rest of the day.